The shadows that lurk. In the heart of the bustling city of Eldoria, where neon lights painted the streets with vibrant hues and the murmur of life echoed through every corner, there lived a man named Samuel. He was an ordinary man with an extraordinary curiosity about the shadows that lurked in the city he called home. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Samuel would embark on his quest. Armed with a notepad and a flashlight, he ventured into the labyrinthine alleys, his steps echoing against the brick walls. His mission was to uncover the stories that the shadows whispered, stories of forgotten dreams, lost hopes, and unfulfilled desires. One chilly autumn night, as Samuel delved deeper into the heart of the city, he noticed a peculiar pattern. The shadows seemed to come alive, dancing in harmony with the flickering streetlights. Intrigued, he followed their lead, guided by the rhythmic dance of darkness. Soon, he found himself in front of an old, abandoned theater named the Midnight Masquerade. Its windows were shattered, and its grandeur was buried beneath layers of dust. Samuel felt a shiver down his spine as he stepped inside, his flashlight illuminating the forgotten elegance of the place. To his surprise, he was not alone. In the dim light, he saw shadowy figures, each wearing a mask, their movements graceful yet melancholic. They were the shadows that had lured him here, and they had a story to tell. As Samuel approached, the shadows began to weave their tale. They spoke of a time when the theater was alive with laughter and music, a place where dreams were born and passions ignited. But as the years passed, the theater fell into despair, forgotten by the world outside. The shadows longed for the days when artists and audiences alike would fill the air with excitement, and so they continued their dance, hoping that someone would hear their silent cries and revive the theater to its former glory. Touched by their story, Samuel vowed to help. He rallied the community, and together they restored the Midnight Masquerade. With every sweep of the broom and stroke of paint, the shadows seemed to grow brighter, their dance becoming more spirited. When the grand reopening night arrived, the city witnessed a spectacle unlike any other. The Midnight Masquerade was reborn, its stage lit with 1,000 lights, and the shadows, now free from their silent prison, performed alongside the living actors, creating a mesmerizing fusion of reality and illusion. The city applauded, not just for the actors on the stage, but for the shadows that had inspired them. Samuel, standing in the midst of the celebration, realized that the shadows that lurked were not to be feared. They were storytellers, waiting for someone to listen. From that day on, the city of Eldoria embraced its shadows, understanding that within the darkness there were tales waiting to be discovered. And Samuel, the man with the curious heart, continued his nightly adventures, not as a quest, but as a dance with the unseen, knowing that every shadow had a story to share. In the wake of the Midnight Masquerade's revival, the city of Eldoria underwent a transformation. The tale of the shadows and their silent cries touched the hearts of the people, fostering a newfound appreciation for the hidden stories that dwelled in every corner. Inspired by Samuel's discovery, the residents of Eldoria began to pay attention to the nuances of their surroundings. They started to notice the elderly couple in the corner house, whose love story was as enduring as time itself. They observed the graffiti artist whose colorful creations told tales of rebellion and freedom on the city's walls. Even the stray cats that roamed the alleys seemed to have stories written in the scars on their fur. The city became a tapestry of stories, interwoven with the laughter of children playing in the parks, the melodies of street musicians, and the aroma of delicacies from diverse cultures. Eldoria embraced its diversity, recognizing that every person, every building, and every shadow had a unique story to tell. Samuel, now a local legend, continued his nightly explorations, not just in search of stories, but in search of connections. He became a bridge between the past and the present, connecting the youth to the wisdom of the elderly, the dreamers to the realists, and the believers to the skeptics. Under the starlit sky, Samuel often sat on a bench in the city square, surrounded by people from all walks of life. They shared their stories with him, knowing that he would listen with the same fascination and respect he had shown to the shadows in the past. The children of Eldoria grew up with a deep appreciation for the stories around them. They formed storytelling clubs where they shared tales of bravery, friendship, and love. The city's schools incorporated storytelling into their curriculum, encouraging creativity and empathy in the young minds. Eldoria, once just a city, had transformed into a beacon of understanding and acceptance. People from neighboring cities visited to witness the magic for themselves. They marveled at the way Eldoria's streets seemed to whisper with the voices of the past and the dreams of the future. And so the legacy of the shadows that Lurk lived on, not just in the restored theater or the stories shared, but in the hearts of the people of Eldoria. They understood that life was a story, and every moment was a sentence waiting to be written. In the end, Eldoria wasn't just a city anymore. It was a living, breathing chronicle of humanity's collective experiences. And at its core was the tale of Samuel, the man who taught them that the shadows that lurked were not just figments of the night, but fragments of stories waiting to be heard. And thus, the city of Eldoria continued to thrive, its streets alive, with the footsteps of people who knew that within every shadow there was a story, and within every story there was a lesson, a connection, and the infinite potential for understanding and compassion.
Learn new vocabulary in a short story. Let's practice in a sentence. Intrigued, aroused interest or curiosity, fascinated. She was intrigued by the mysterious story. Grandeur, the quality or state of being impressive or magnificent, especially in appearance. The palace displayed a grandeur that left visitors in awe. Melancholic, feeling or expressing sadness, pensive or sorrowful. The old song had a melancholic melody that touched the heart. Elegance, the quality of being graceful and stylish in appearance or manner, refinement. Her dress exuded an elegance that turned heads at the party. Spectacle, an impressive or showy display, a visually striking performance or event. The fireworks display was a spectacular spectacle in the night sky. Fusion, the process or result of joining two or more things together to form a single entity, the blending or merging of different elements. The restaurant offered a fusion of flavors from different cuisines. Unity, the state of being united or joined as a whole, harmony or agreement. The community showed remarkable unity during the crisis. Nuances, subtle differences or distinctions in meaning, expression, tone, or color, subtle details. He appreciated the nuances of the painting, noticing every subtle detail. Tapestry, a complex and intricate combination of different elements, a rich or varied collection. The tapestry on the wall depicted scenes from ancient times. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, compassion or sensitivity towards others' emotions. Her empathy towards others made her a beloved friend. Chronicle, a factual written account of important or historical events in the order of their occurrence, a detailed record or narrative. The historian spent years chronicling the events of the war. Compassion, sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others, kindness and understanding towards others' difficulties. Acts of compassion can brighten even the darkest days. Legacy, something handed down from the past, a gift or inheritance, often in the form of knowledge, culture, or values. His scientific discoveries left a lasting legacy in the field. Curiosity, a strong desire to know or learn something, inquisitiveness. Curiosity led her to explore the depths of the mysterious forest. Enduring, continuing or lasting over a long period, remaining strong or persistent. Their enduring friendship stood the test of time. Fostering, promoting the growth or development of something, nurturing or encouraging. The organization was dedicated to fostering a sense of community. Skeptics, people inclined to doubt or question accepted beliefs or opinions, those who are critical or doubtful. Despite skeptics, the project proved to be a tremendous success. Intriguing, arousing curiosity or interest by being unusual, exotic, or mysterious, fascinating. The detective found the case to be particularly intriguing. Revival, the act or process of bringing something back into existence or prominence. Restoration to life, consciousness, or freshness. The old town experienced a cultural revival, attracting tourists. Mesmerizing, holding the attention or interest of someone in a compelling or hypnotic manner, captivating. The sunset over the ocean was mesmerizing, painting the sky in vibrant hues. Beacon, a guiding or warning signal, something that serves as a source of inspiration or guidance. The lighthouse stood tall, serving as a beacon of hope for sailors. Pensive, engaged in, involving, or reflecting deep or serious thought, contemplative. She sat by the window, deep in pensive thoughts about the future. Rebellion, resistance against authority, control, or tradition, defiance of established rules or norms. The novel depicted a young girl's journey during a rebellion against tyranny. Ethereal, extremely delicate and light, as if not of this world, heavenly or spiritual. The ethereal music filled the room, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. Fusion, the process of merging or combining elements into a unified whole, the blending of different styles, cultures, or disciplines. The fusion of flavors in the dish created a delightful taste experience. Spectacular, strikingly large or impressive in appearance, magnificent or eye-catching. The waterfall in the national park was a truly spectacular sight. Respect, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements, esteem. Mutual respect is essential for a healthy relationship. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.